Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Juan's World, and today is going to be slightly more of a ramble than usual. On my blog posts I call this kind of effort an omnibus edition. Omnibus coming from Latin meaning for all, and books that were normally called omnibus editions means they contained all or a lot of things, and omnibus became, in the 19th century anyway, the name of a vehicle that carried all people. It was for all, and omnibus got shortened to bus, and that's what we use now. Well, you can see I'm already rambling, but my topic, no advice, is not very interesting, I guess. Certainly not a very long topic, but an important one. I want to explain why I don't give advice, and that may be one of the reasons why I don't have a lot of viewers. But there's an interesting thing. People seem to want to get advice, but then they don't seem to want to actually use it. It's just a matter of saying, oh yeah, that's good advice, and then they go about their business just as they did before they got the advice. So I want to just troubleshoot that a little bit. And then in the mix, I'm going to do a little bit of cooking, a little bit of wandering around the houses and whatnot. So let's just start down that path. Now, one of the things I notice when I get on my YouTube channel is just how many channels are associated with some form of self-help, as they call it. Last week I was looking in particular at 2 or 3 channels that were all about the difficulties that men are having with dating women. And one particular one, mostly a parody, admittedly, but still in the same vein, of a woman complaining about all of her dating problems. And I can understand why people get neurotic about dating. I used to be. But advice doesn't help. When I was actively dating, I did a lot of really stupid things, and people would often say to me, that's very stupid, and I would perhaps agree, perhaps not agree. Didn't matter, I would do them anyway, and I would continue to do them even though it was pointed out to me that they were stupid. And I can do the same. I can sit here and I can talk about stupid things that people do. But it's pointless. And it's not just pointless because people will not change their behavior. It's pointless because I don't really know who you are. I don't know your circumstances. I don't know your inner workings. I don't know your history. I don't know how you were brought up, whether you're married or not married, dating, not dating, gay, straight, smart, stupid. I don't know any of those things. I just about know something about them in relationship to myself. And so when I'm in a good mood, I can give myself advice. If I follow it is another matter entirely. But I have a better shot at charting my own course by giving myself advice based on my own experience. I have no chance when it comes to you, especially if you're a woman, because I'm not even a woman. I don't have the remoteness understanding of what it means to be a woman. If you're young, I don't really understand. I'm nearly 70 years old. There's just so many things about you that I have no knowledge of. So advice is just really pointless. I can have a conversation with you, if you're a friend and you say, look, I've got this problem. I can sit down with you and say, okay, well, let's talk about it. Just tell me about it. It's kind of like a therapy session in a way, I guess. But blanket generalizations are just useless. So I'm not going to do it. What I am going to do from time to time is tell you something that happened to me that was interesting. This blog is not about changing anybody's opinion or life or whatever. It's just about information. And information is really important. And one of the reasons that information is really important is because a lot of people don't understand how to examine or to analyze information. They don't know how to look at what they're being given and say simple things like, is this true? Will this work? Will this work for me? And so on. So, no advice. I don't give advice on blogs, on my video channel, nowhere. I just don't give advice. And the corollary of that is I don't want advice either. I don't need it and I don't want it. What I would like is connection. I would like to feel like the people that I communicate with are connected with me in some way, that it's engaging, and that engagement can help me in various ways. Sometimes just in amusing ways, other times in ways that will help me with problems and so forth. So that's why I don't give advice. But I do cook, right? And now here's an interesting thing. I was at the supermarket the other day, and you can see here I got 2 cans of coconut cream. Now it's not cream. Milk and cream are funny words that technically relate to animals that have breasts and that give milk for their offspring. So coconut cream and coconut milk are not real milk. But I wanted to know, if I treated this can of coconut cream just as I do condensed milk, would I form coconut dulce de leche? And here's what happened. So after 2 hours, this is what the coconut cream looked like, exactly what it looked like before the 2 hours. So that was 2 hours of wasted boiling time. I tossed it out into a skillet, as you can see here. Sorry for the lack of focus. Not easy to focus on white bubbling stuff. And what I did was I added some sugar, because the clear problem is that there was not enough of the right kind of sugar in the coconut cream to caramelize. So I just added some caster sugar, about half a cup maybe, and set it on medium-high heat, and you can see that in not very long, 20 minutes, maybe even less, it started caramelizing. And I let it not only caramelize but also reduce, and then I had this as a finished product, which looks a little bit like dulce de leche. Spread it on some toast, and it's really quite nice. I mean, it's not as rich and milky, creamy as dulce de leche, and it wasn't as dark, mainly because I didn't leave it on as long. But a nice coconut flavor, a little bit of caramel hint in with the coconut, just altogether wonderful. And now to complete my omnibus cycle for this Tuesday, here is the building right opposite where I live. I can take photographs like this from my balcony or from my desk. And what's really curious about this building is that it is almost entirely built by hand. It has a girder frame, like a steel girder frame, like any building of this size. But all the walls that you can see here are hand-laid brick. And I watched the bricklayers lay them, and then when they finished laying the bricks, they then coated the bricks with stucco, the gray that you can see here, by hand. And now they are painting the building by hand using a brush and buckets of paint. And they're being rather slapdash about it. You can see that there are odd places where they've missed and they don't care. And they're also putting up various decorations that you can see. All of these decorations were constructed by hand and painted by hand. And there's not a lot of workers at the site. On any given day I can usually see somewhere between 10 and 15 people. Now they do have a crane, you can see that in the background, and they mix the stucco and mortar and so forth, obviously in some kind of mechanical mixing device. Although generally speaking, people here, when they make cement or concrete or stucco or whatever, they mix it also by hand. It's a whole different way of thinking about the world. When you imagine a building this size, it's 7 floors high and maybe about 100 meters wide, all built by hand. Extraordinary. And that's true pretty much of all Southeast Asia. Saw the same thing happening in Myanmar, and I've also seen it happening in Vietnam as well. So that's the end of my omnibus for this Tuesday. Not sure what I'm going to do on Friday yet. We'll see. Hope you have a good week, and meanwhile tell your friends about my videos. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on Friday.